That's right.
You got it. We got the news this week. Ben Simmons wants out, reportedly telling Philly brass he's going to skip camp if he has to. In fact, Broussard dropping this little nugget on the show yesterday. Simmons literally open to going to any other team in the league. His co-star, Joel Embiid, responded to a report on Twitter that the Sixers had to pick between Simmons and Embiid, and he was fired up. Embiid tweeting, sources, trust me, bro, stop using my name to push people's agendas. I love and hate drama. I love playing with Ben. Stats don't lie. He's an amazing player, and we all didn't get the job done. It is on me personally. I hope everyone is back because we know we're good enough to win. He continues.
That's a good tweet.
From my own experience, y'all have no idea how much this media makes up stuff for followers, and shame on you for believing them. I haven't forgotten, but 2 years ago, I got booed. People in Philly wanted me to be traded. I even shushed them. Only the real ones didn't, but I just put the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potential. Philly fans, you also got to be better. Here it is. There's more. Ready? For clarity, I love the criticism. I love when I'm told I can't do something. It makes me work harder to prove everything wrong. But not everyone is built like that.
Oh, no, Joel. You were so close.
He went there.
Close.
He went there right at the end. Right at the end. Broussard, do you believe Joel Embiid wants Ben Simmons to stay in Philly? I'm glad I saw the same thing you all saw.
Yeah, I was going to say it's pretty clear Nick doesn't believe it. Here, let me go back because over the years, I've talked to people in Philadelphia about the relationship between Embiid and Simmons, and here's some of the things I've been told. Early in their careers, they both obviously came in with big expectations. They both were early stars right away, and there was jealousy and competition between the two of them as to who's going to be the man, whose team is it. So one of them, was looking at the other guy like, well, I want it to be my team. Are people saying it's his team? Or I want to be the man. Are people saying he's the man? That type of thing. But from what I've been told over the last, year or so, maybe 2 years, that settled down a bit and their relationship is cordial. They're not hanging out, kicking it, but they're not at each other's throats either. And the relationship with them, what I've been told, is cordial. And so I think they could coexist from a personality standpoint. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But Joel, I think I'm going to say that to say this. I think he does mean it when he says kind things about Ben. And I think when Ben is traded, Joel will say more kind things. But I think he'll move on with the snap of a finger because there's no way he doesn't look down on Ben basketball-wise. After what happened in the playoffs against the Hawks, there's no way he can't be thinking Ben's got to get better. And if they make a good trade, and if they get, even if it's a C.J. McCollum, I think that's a better fit with Embiid than Simmons will be. So I don't think Embiid is trying to push Ben out the door, but I think when he's gone, he'll say good things about Ben and then move on with whoever they bring in for him.
Well, listen, I think Joel really, really wants to win. We saw the emotion on his face after Kawhi's shot. We've seen how much better Joel has gotten year over year, how his game's evolved. He's tried to work on his fitness. I think some of the fitness stuff with Joel is a little unfair because he's so big with kind of bad knees and kind of bad feet. He can't do a lot of the cardio you would like people to do. Man, 7'2", close to 300 pounds with tough knees. He can't be running 5 miles. His body's, so he's never going to be in the peak physical shape like some people want. Exactly right, Jenna. But as is often the case with Joel, he just said a little too much. Those tweets would have been fine if he would have just stopped 7 words early.
Yes.
But not everyone is built for that. Okay. Well, that's a shot. Just like at the end of the year, after the devastating loss to the Hawks, the press conference would have been fine if he didn't say, Well, I thought the game turned when we had a dunk and we got no points out of it. It's like, okay, man. And I'll add to some of Broussard's reporting with a little of my own. I was told that comment and the comment from Doc and the comment from Joel right after that Hawks loss when it was raw was the final straw in this relationship with the Ben and the Sixers. That it wasn't the main thing, it wasn't all that their talk focused on, but that after that it was done. And so, if the problem with that tweet, Broussard, and the end of it is, I don't really care if Joel and Ben get along because it's clear Ben wants out. It doesn't really matter if Joel wants him there when Ben clearly wants out. The problem is the whole basketball world saw it. And so now, when Daryl Morey, who is not going to take 50 cents on the dollar, calls any team, that team has even more leverage. Because they're like, okay, things are getting lit on fire in your backyard. Joel Embiid is, 2 Twitter thumbs away from further decreasing your leverage. So I think Joel played like an MVP last year. I think he is clearly the best guy on that team, all that stuff. But he has some maturity growth to do when it comes to, I can't always say what I want to say. I can't always say what I'm thinking, especially when Joel's chances of winning a title are going to be drastically impacted by what they get back for Ben Simmons. So don't decrease your team's leverage when they're trying to trade Ben Simmons. It's just foolish. And it's for nobody. It's for nothing. It's to be on Twitter. There's no gain to it, Broussard.
There's no win.
No, look, Nick, we all need an edit button, right? You can't just spout out whatever the heck you want to say. But you mentioned Joel needing to mature, and he does, but they both do. So does Ben. And I get where Ben is coming from with what Doc Rivers said. I don't know if we can win a championship with him. And then, of course, what Embiid said. I get that he's hurt and that bothers him. These guys are supposed to have my back, and they threw me under the bus. I understand all that. But what bothers me about the stance that Ben is taking, Nick, is that he's playing the victim role, okay? And he is making it look like the Sixers are mistreating him, okay? I can't believe what they're doing. And what it says to me, and they may, like I said, they said the wrong things. But all of this, his actions since then, Nick, makes me think there is a reluctance and a refusal for him to look in the mirror. Because the fact of the matter is, even though Doc and Joel spoke out of turn, Ben has not gotten it done. And Ben was horrible in that playoff series against the Hawks. And Ben has not added a jump shot, even to take the jump shot. And so it scares me if I'm an opposing team, because I like Ben. And we've talked about it, you and I, how they can build around him somewhat like Milwaukee's done with Giannis and all that. Okay? But if I'm an opposing team, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, first of all, it's been 4 years and he still hasn't gotten to the point where he'll even take jump shots. And now the way he's handling this makes me look at it like this dude won't look in the mirror. He won't look in the mirror and say, I've got to get better. Yes, Doc spoke out of turn. Yes, Joel should not have said that. But I didn't get it done. At the end of the day, they were right. I got to be better. And Ben Simmons, I love Ben Simmons' game. But he's got to look in the mirror and start adding the things that he's lacking, Nick.
Well, and here's the other part of it when it comes to adding the things that he's lacking. In a different circumstance, Broussard, if you're not on a team with Joel, then maybe if you have the right pieces around you, the things that you are lacking don't rear their head so much, right? They don't come up so much. I'll use Draymond as an example. Draymond doesn't refuse to take, well, last year he kind of did refuse to take shots, but Draymond doesn't have a refusal. It's just that aside from the 73-win season, he's never been able to take shots, right? But he's on the perfect team for his skill set, and what he does is makes them so much better, right? Particularly in the postseason in big spots. So it's not as glaring. I understand the frustration for anyone in any walk of life. If you're like, man, I'm just in the wrong place. If I was somewhere else, I'd get criticized less, I'd be loved more, all this stuff. But you are where you are, right? And so I get why he wants out of Philly now, but that doesn't absolve you for